KSMO Salem.
Here at KSMO Radio, it's time for us to sit down with Daryl Skiles from the South Central Regional Stockyards and our South Central Regional Stockyards update. How you doing, Daryl?
Real good, Stan. Real good.
Very good. We're taping this program a little bit early, aren't we?
We're doing this Thursday afternoon. Folks are listening to it here Saturday, or on Friday morning. We're doing this Thursday afternoon. My oldest grandson is his class, I think, is taking a trip to the pumpkin patch, and grandson asked if I could go with them and help chaperone as they do this thing. So it's pretty hard to turn down. So we're taping this on Thursday afternoon. So if it sounds kind of funky how we're addressing things, why, that's what it'll be. But so this might be a little shorter program than some have been. I hope folks that are listening, some may have listened to the program here a couple of weeks ago when we had Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe on. And again, really appreciated him coming down and going on the radio talking about Buy Missouri, and you can't get much more Buy Missouri than when you're talking about the cattle business.
Well, that's true. That's true.
We're one of the top states in the nation in that, and we export a lot of feeder cattle, and now we got a big new processing plant going in up in Warren County to process a lot of beef, and it's going to keep a lot of beef right here in Missouri. So anyway, do appreciate the Lieutenant Governor coming. And then also while the Lieutenant Governor was here, he got a chance to go out and visit with the folks at U.S. Foods and talk about their operation and learn firsthand the impact of roads and the need for better roads, of course, in our region. And then also he had a chance to go out and visit with Scott Jadwin out at Jadwin Forest Products, just on the west side of town here, and again talk about what they do, taking the raw product and timber, logs, and much of that coming off of our various farms in the county, as well as our national forest. Anyway, and processing those down and making them into blocking lumber and making into high quality hardwood flooring and so forth, and again the transportation issues and challenges they run into and things, and what the state could do to help those. So very much appreciated that, and appreciated Representative Copeland helping arrange those meetings too, and spending some time with Lieutenant Governor here. So
one of the neat things about the state of Missouri, and we talked about it when Mike was here, is the diversification in the counties. I mean, you have some counties, you go up north and you've got a lot more crops. You've got you've got that type of deal. You get to the south, you've got the timber industry, you've got the livestock industry, tourism in a different way. You got tourism up there like Hannibal and things of that nature. You got the rivers, but when you look at the whole state of Missouri, there's no way one person could go into every one of these counties and then come away saying, I know exactly what they need. There's just no way. Nope. And Dent County is kind of unique in that, we have tourism. We have some very viable timber industry. We've got a big logging industry down this way. Yes. We've got national scenic riverways. You've got forests. You've got a lot of land that doesn't get utilized because it is protected by the federal government. And at the same time, Daryl, we're able to prosper and put out a great product in a number of different ways right here from Dent County. It has to be impressive for the Lieutenant Governor to come down and see, these people with basically one town in their county is able to prosper as well as they do. And I really appreciate them taking a look around to get a first-hand view of this, because it's so hard to do when you don't have that much time.
Yep, sure is. And we do a lot of ththings. There's a lot of different things all come together to make our economy tick here in Dent County, and it's kind of unique and pretty neat. And so, real glad to get him here. But the feeder cattle business, of course, is one of the big things here in our part of the woods. And
big driver of economics.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
So tell us a little bit about the market lately, Daryl.
Well, we've lost a little ground on some of the prices. I'll tell you this. October typically is the best way to describe October when you're talking about marketing feeder cattle. One word would be doldrums, almost. And there's a reason for that. First of all, a lot of our feeder cattle, the demand for our feeder cattle is driven by demand from farmer feeders in the crop country. And that's North Missouri, but really Iowa, some Illinois, but a lot of Nebraska in that crop country. This is the time of year when the weather's good in October. Those farmers, while they may want to buy some feeder cattle and feed their corn to them and stuff, in October, they're going to concentrate on getting that corn harvested, get those soybeans harvested and in the bins, and then they'll then they'll get back in the market. Typically, year after year, October is a pretty slow month for marketing of feeder cattle, pretty tough. And then at the same time, October, though, is the time when a whole lot of spring calves get people want to pull them off the cows and sell them, and balling calves. And even if they're selling the older calves, it's still just a little different, tougher market than most times of the year, because of just that dynamic there with a lot of the potential buyers just busy getting what they're going to feed the cattle, getting it harvested and things. So typically October is a little bit of a challenging month for the livestock markets all across, not just Missouri, but all across the country. Because again, you've got large numbers of cows calving in the spring, and this is about the time that they're pulling them off. Myself, I weaned one set of calves, and I've got a little package of more calves that I'm going to get weaned and put with them, and I'll probably kick them out then on some grass at home, and probably move them later, middle end of November, probably more 1st of December, and depending on the weather and the market and so on, maybe even up in January. But at any rate, the market is still awfully good, and we'll touch on that a little bit.
Sure.
We're still selling cattle a good bit higher than what we were, even though the market has backed off and softened up some. The fat cattle market itself, and I say fat cattle, that's the finished live cattle market, has backed up a little bit in the futures. And but still, when we're looking at these steers, we're still looking at these. I was just looking here at our market just a week or so ago, where we had some 740-pound calves stand at $2.49 a pound. Now those are value added, and you've heard me talk about the value added thing before. But these are calves that have had all of the various respiratory vaccinations, and plus the boosters, and that's where the demand is at as far as on the buyers that are willing to pay those top prices. You take a 740-pound calf at $2.49 a pound, you're talking about an animal $1,842. A lot of dollars compared to what we were, just a year or two ago, we were tickled to death to get $1,000, $1,100, $1,200, on some of these bigger feeders. But again, these are value added. We're looking at here at $2.49 a pound. You're looking here at some unweaned, non-value added cattle at $2.29 a pound. So you're talking 20 cents a pound
20 cents
difference.
a pound, yeah.
Just you take 20 cents a pound on a 700-pound animal. I'm not real good at
$1,400.
math, but I think that's $140. At least with my old math that I studied when I was in school. So anyway,
so so basically the value added, the investment you put into that, for every single cow you sell, you can lose anywhere from $140 to $200 for every single cow that you're selling, or steer, whatever it might be. Without the value added, Daryl, the investment in the value added pays off in the long run, doesn't it?
It generally pays off, especially on spring-born calves that are being sold in the fall. Calves that are being sold at this time of year, if they're being pulled off, this is now, the weather, it can be 80, 85 degrees one day, and then the next day, down in the 30s, cold rain, mud typically and stuff. There's a lot more health challenges in these cattle coming off the cows in the fall, typically than our fall-born calves. Our fall-born calves, we'll pull them off and sell lots of those right off the cow in May and in June. Those old calves have been out eating that good lush spring grass.
Sure.
Some of them have gotten so good on that they're not paying a whole lot of attention to mama anyway. It's just a different weaning environment for those calves at that particular time of year than it is for these spring-born calves being pulled off their mamas, trucked maybe 300, 400, 500 miles, and and dumped out in a strange environment. They're just big old soft babies, and it's pretty tough. It just really is.
Well, it'd be
it's
tough
just,
for anybody to have that happen.
Our challenge we have more in when we're selling in May or June on some of these calves that we pull straight off the cow would be if the hot weather hits us earlier than normal. That can be a big challenge.
And we've had that happen a few times. Yeah, where it gets really
But at
warm.
any rate, what I'm getting at, we don't typically see quite as much pressure on these price pressure put on these calves being pulled off the cow in May and June sometimes is what we will see here in late September, October, and early November. And unweaned calves in October, November, and for that matter, unweaned calves November, December. There's typically some weather, uncomfortable weather if you're a weaned calf. But if you're an unweaned balding baby and you think your world is just ended, why, they tend to they pout pretty bad and they get sick.
Yeah,
just the way it is. So,
that's the key.
And that value added just means that they've had all the various respiratory vaccinations and boosters, and most of that they've usually had at least one modified live vaccination booster for the main respiratory diseases. And your local veterinarians, your local feed stores and things can hook you up and get you the right vaccines that you need for these calves that you're going to wean. But that gives you an idea again. But we're looking up here at some 473-pound calves, and I'm talking about some of these prices. Now these are just across the board. Some 473-pound calves bringing $3.01 to $3.06 a pound.
Wow.
Had some here 428 pounds here bringing up around $3.10 a pound. Prices. We just had never seen back before.
No.
That's on the medium and large, number one, your top end kind of steers.
Sure.
Not too fleshy, but no odd colors or weird deals or something like that. Our heifers, again, these unweaned heifers, it'll be the same thing as far as unweaned versus some of them been vaccinated and kept around. But our heifers are selling in a range, typically these better heifers weighing 670, 700, some value-added heifers weighing 700 here. We're at 239, almost 240 themselves. A set of unweaned ones there were at 231, so almost a dime difference just on them, which on a 700-pound animal, you're talking about $60, $70 a head.
That's right.
And so now, granted, and I'll say I've weaned, and it can be weaning a whole group of calves. It's not a fun deal. They're going to bawl, they're going to walk, and you know what? Sometimes some of them will get sick. Yeah. And typically what I'm going to do if I'm going to wean, I'll get that first round of vaccinations in them calves back when they're 3-4 weeks before I ever wean them. That helps get their immunity started. The day I wean them, I'll generally run them through the chute, give them another round boosters of those killed vaccine boosters for the respiratory diseases, meaning IBR, BBD, PR3, PI3, BRSV, and then the blackleg with Haemophilus somnus. And I'll get them all weaned, and then when they're all weaned and done, a couple of 3 weeks after that, and I get them turned out, I'll give them a modified live booster.
Okay.
Before I sell them. So anyway, but again, that's kind of where we're at on those heifers, and that's on them medium and large ones. I was looking here. We had a lot of 480-pound heifers bringing 249, 520-pound heifers at 249, some 645-pound heifers. Just to give you an example, 645 pounds unweaned at 215. They backed off pretty quickly.
Very quickly.
Yeah. Because I'm unweaned calves. They'll be big, old, fat, pretty things. But when they're not weaned, and they get hauled and things, they're going to stress, and they're going to walk the pens balling. And a week later, they'll many times weigh quite a bit less than they did when you ran them through the ring. But the buyers have learned to deal with that. The slaughter cow market remains pretty good. It's backed up just a little bit, too, in response to the meat market. At South Central, we've had some awful nice bunches of really good weigh cows. We had some big cows, average dressing cows weighing 1,400 pounds, around $1 to $1.05 or better. That's your breaking cows, your boner cows, which are about 80-85% lean, and some of them weighing 1,300 pounds, bringing around 97 cents to $1. 1,200 pounders around $1.04. Again, those high dressing kind of cows. Even your lean cows will sit in there at upper 50 to 60, 65 to 70, 80, 90 on some of those leaner kind of cows. And the big old slaughter bulls are going to be bringing up there if they're big enough, lean. 1,500 to 2,000 pound bulls bringing typically around $1, $1.10, $1.15. And sometimes bumping right up against $1.20. So if you got a big old bull that's done you a good job breeding, but his best days are behind him, and you need to get some better genetics, well, you can cash him in for quite a few dollars to go towards that better bull.
Absolutely.
So anyway, not really enough what I'd call real top end kind of stocker cows to make much of a comparison on. But it's sure gotten dry again, and we're going to start seeing a lot of these cows start showing up if this rain. I hear we have rain forecast for tomorrow. I was hoping they'd say we was going to have a 2 or 3 inches. Some people need some water running in the creeks, and they need some water running.
It's going to be windy.
ponds.
We're just going to dry it out real quick anyway. So even if we get the rain, the amount of wind, we're talking 35, 40 mile an hour winds.
Oh my gosh!
It's going to just dry right out. So. Yeah. It's not going to do much. Whatever it hits can soak in the ground. That's great, but it won't. It's only supposed to be max a quarter of an inch if we get that. So hopefully we would get that. But it doesn't look to be any rain until maybe next Thursday.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm going to probably wean another set of calves here about Saturday, and by next Thursday they should be pretty well weaned enough and in shape that a little rain won't bother them too badly. Hope not.
I hope not either.
Yep, but it's always a challenge. But again, I'll have had them vaccinated and boosted, and feed them some hay and some real good conditioner grower type grain feed, and just get them eating. That's the main thing. They need to eat. A calf with a full belly generally will be a pretty happy calf.
We've talked on the program before about people just getting into the business, and Daryl, one of the things that I wanted to bring up, and we don't have to do too much of it today, but we can definitely bring it up here in the near future. For people who want to get into business, obviously there's probably a lot of expenses and different things that they're not very familiar with, and trying to put together a budget to try and figure out how do I get into this business, purchasing of your animals, obviously preparing the land, fencing, whatever it might be, vaccinations like we're talking about. Is there is there a template that somebody can go to and kind of say, this is what you will need to get started if you want to get into this business?
Well, I'll tell you what, really and truly, your local extension office can help you a lot with that, kind of arriving at what some of them basic things are that you need to think about and put in place.
Okay.
Livestock specialist Eric Mush can help with some of that. And, or come up to the barn and or make an appointment with us sometime and sit down, and we'll visit with you and try to give you some ideas what you better be thinking about at least. Right. Some basic things, and, what kind of cattle you might think about wanting to run that have the best chance maybe of turning the kind of dollars and producing the kind of calf that'll have a better chance of making a profit.
Right, because the type of cattle you choose makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yes, it sure does. Yeah. It can mean a huge difference. Yeah, I've seen calves the same age bring from right at $2,000 a head down to even as high as the market is, $1,100 a head. And some calves roughly the same age, and be that much difference in them just simply because of the type and quality and so on. Now, also sometimes because of how they've been handled,
sure,
or mishandled might be a more appropriate word in some cases. So, but just your choices you make will impact your bottom line. Right. And to be honest, you can't go wrong buying good quality. Now, you might for some reason get hung out and end up paying more than you should have paid for some of that quality, and we can help you with that to see that we don't want anybody to get caught having to pay more than what they should have to. But your best bet is buy quality animals, or get started, or buy some quality bulls, and then if they're running with good cows, and you'll have some quality heifers to keep. And or at every sale, generally at every sale where we got very many numbers, there's something to be said for buying your females. Right there, we got reputable breeders, and we know who those are. If you're looking for some top quality replacement heifers, we've generally got some about every sale that would shine in about any herd.
Is it harder to get some breeds than others, like Angus versus Charolais or anything of that nature? Is it tougher to find those available for specific farms that they want to sell?
Obviously, probably the biggest, the most popular one across the country is the Angus. There's a lot of them at every sale. Angus and Hereford cross, the Black Baldies. The Black Baldies make excellent cows. You just don't see as many Charolais cross cattle as what they used to.
Not like we used to.
Nope. no, not at all. It's the emphasis has been more on a little smaller animal that would grade a little quicker, and I say grade choice or prime.
Right.
And the Angus has worked real hard to try to fill that niche, and so I'd have to say probably in about any given sale, 80% or more of the cattle will be black-hided, maybe black baldy.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good. I was just speculating this the other day. Like, if I got into the business, I just want to talk to somebody like yourself. Go up to the stockyards, visit, get to know Dave and the entire gang up there, but also observe and then talk to the other producers, because you will learn a tremendous amount from those other producers, won't you?
You sure will. You sure will. And I'll tell you this, at every sale, when I'm talking about these prices on here, that's not, those prices I'm quoting you aren't numbers that we at the barn pulled out there to try to make ourselves look good. These are prices that are put together by the USDA, right. Missouri Department of Agriculture market reporter, and he's sitting up there and watching that thing in real time, and he's recording that information and compiling that data, and then he summarizes that data into this market report that I'm reading off of. His name is Dwayne Robertson. He actually is a purebred Angus breeder. I buy a good number of my own bulls that I use from him. Matter of fact, because I've sat there and he's worked with me and helped me get some things that I needed and stuff. So he's a good breeder. He can help you. We've got some local breeders right here though that too. If you'll sit down with them, they can kind of walk you through what some of the bulls that they have, how they would fit your operation or what you're trying to accomplish. So just check around, and again, if you get with the University Livestock Specialist, he can put you in contact with some of these people. And but like you said, come up to the barn sometime and or call up and see if you can just come up and visit with Ross or Bill Patton or their dad Dave Patton. Dave's taking care of some family members and many times isn't available, but Ross and Bill are generally always more than happy. Or give me a call and I'll try to help you myself, and I've done that before. I've got a visit with somebody here in a couple of weeks that's wanting a little information, a few tips about what maybe should or shouldn't be happening in his operation.
And just because you've been in the cattle business doesn't mean you can't learn from others.
That's right.
Because things change all the time. We know about technology, and that's one thing, but also there's better feed, there's better vaccines that maybe you're not aware of, and you've been doing it for 30 or 40 years, and I know we all kind of get on that horse that we ride. I've been doing it for a long time. I know what I'm doing, and you probably do know what you're doing, but there may actually be something out there that can enhance your product a little bit more.
That's right, and make it more attractive, more desirable for those buyers that are willing to pay the most dollars for them. Yeah. There's always something going on, always something happening, and there's or if nothing else, sometimes you may want to find out about something that you've been doing that you'd probably be much better off to change completely and not do, and that it's probably not helping you. So, it's just an interesting business, and we're really fortunate right now with cattle prices like they are, both on the slaughter cows, replacement cows. Good replacement cows are hard to find. They just are. The good replacement cows, the numbers are down, and the good replacement cows are held in pretty strong hands by folks who intend to be in the business and stay in the business.
Yeah, the numbers are down, the prices are up, right?
Jumping in and out of the business generally doesn't work the best in the world. So anyway, it's just it's a great time to be in the cattle business. So
very good.
Real proud to be able to help folks. If somebody's got some stock they're thinking about marketing or whatever, why I'd be happy to get the fellas from South Central Regional Stockyards down to visit with them on the farm, give an idea, take a look at their stock and get an idea of what they think they might bring in the market right now, what their options are, what they might want to think about doing to increase their profitability on those animals. Because you better make all you can while it's good.
Well,
because the worm will change here one of these days.
Well,
but
and
it looks good for the next couple of 3
yeah,
years. It really does because of numbers.
You never know what markets, they can change, and they can change drastically. So, that's one of the reasons why we do this show, is to get people a little bit more aware that there are different things out there. And if you are in the cattle business or maybe looking to get into it, again, this is a great opportunity for you. Just take a few minutes of your time, make a phone call, give Daryl a call the stockyards. And I'm not saying don't do your own homework. You should always do your own homework, but then talk to the people who are actually doing it. A lot of people say, I studied this on the internet, and I know exactly how it works. You studied on the internet, you don't have a clue how it works. I mean, you may have the book idea, you may have the general idea how it works, but when it comes to the nitty-gritty, to the detail, to the understanding of why that has to happen, you don't have a clue. And it's an unfortunate thing. You learn by doing it. I think everybody who grew up 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago all learned that a long time ago. You can be told what to do, but you don't really understand it until you do it yourself.
Yeah. And it can be quite an education sitting through an hour or two of the sale as it's going on and watching different groups of cattle sell and seeing what they bring and what's been done to them and what their health program is and what's behind that and so forth and so on. So call the barn, South Central Regional Stockyards. That phone number is 573-422-3305. If you need help arranging trucking or whatever, if you want to talk to Ross Patton, Bill Patton, or David Patton about what you're planning on thinking about, they'd be more than happy to visit with you. If they're not available right then, somebody will get a number and they'll get back to you. You can give me a call. My number 573-308-5415. And if I don't answer, leave me a message. I get lots of messages, and I try to return every call one way or the other. So if I haven't returned your call right away, well, don't give up on me. I'll get to you.
A lot of times you're in that no man's land where you have no service.
Yeah,
I've talked to you before when you cut in and out, and it's a hard conversation to have when you don't know if they even hear you.
Yep, there are some cell phone holes out there.
Yeah, there definitely are. I don't have anything else, Daryl. If you've got something else you want to finish with?
Nope. I will mention one thing. We talked about having the lieutenant governor down, and we talked about highways and things. One issue that is still hanging out there, and we talked about this a little bit a while back, and I think we talked about this some back in the spring when the MoDOT's Preston Kramer was on the radio. We talked about that there's going to be putting a new bridge in on Highway 19 South across, I call it Gladden Creek. They call it Standing Rock Creek, but whatever. It's across the
bridge at Standing Rock.
Just on down south, on down 19 South, just a little ways from R1 School, just back north of Gladden. And anyway, but it's come out here over the last month that MoDOT's plan was to maybe totally close Highway 19 down for a 45-day period while they tear the old bridge out and put a new one in. And that's a pretty tough pill for some folks to swallow. They are taking comments about that. So if you go on the MoDOT website,
and today is the last day to make your comment.
That's right. Yeah, and we say that because Friday the 13th is the last day to comment on that. So they do need to hear from you, your thoughts about possibly closing Highway 19 down for a period. Now, they projected that they would close down for just 45 days, but man, that's still a long 45 days, and it's a pretty long drag all the way around there to go down K Highway over Devil's Backbone and down to the river and then back across KK. We haul some cattle from down in that area up, and that's there's just the MoDOT, as far as I'm concerned, MoDOT, to do it right, just needs to go ahead and acquire a little bit of right-of-way. Either one of two things: acquire a little right-of-way, build a new right-of-way, and make the alignment better on both sides leading to the bridge, or at the very least, go ahead and put a temporary crossing in there and then get the bridge out and get it in there pretty quick and stuff. They've done that out here on 3272 East at Dry Valley, put a temporary crossing in, worked superbly. Yeah. And, and then when they had the new bridge built, then they pulled the pipes out and they took the material that they'd put in there and used it on the banks and around on the side. It wasn't like it was wasted and so on. So I think I'm optimistic and hopeful that MoDOT will come up with a little better plan on this thing than a 45-day closing and going down Devil's Backbone to Acres Ferry to circle around us.
Well, it was kind of funny. The representatives they sent said they never had driven those roads. And I was thinking, how can you recommend this as a detour? You've never driven the roads. Well, it looks good on paper. I don't know if anybody I've ever talked to that had a good detour that looked good on paper.
I tell you the truth, it almost made me wonder if they didn't have an idea that this wasn't going to fly, but they was going to float it and let's see what happened.
Well, they wanted to see if they'd get comments. They found out.
They had a good turnout. My
They
hats
did.
off to all the folks who came to the public meeting that was at the community center at the Armory 3 weeks ago. And but they are still taking comment until through February or October 13th.
Today.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I got till midnight.
Yeah. So
anyway,
so let them know what you think. Yeah. If you go to the MoDOT site, I know you can find the link to the Highway 19 bridge.
Yeah.
They call it, as I say, they're calling
Right.
it the bridge over Standing Rock
So
Creek.
that's what you need to put in a search bar, Standing Rock Project, and it'll take you to that link.
That's it. Yeah.
Anyway, so go to modot.org, and then in the search bar, Standing Rock Project, and you'll see it. It'll say right there, comment on Highway 19, Standing Rock Project. It just goes on and on and on.
I think our legislators are from what I understand, are engaged in this discussion as well, and trying to help us a little bit with this. So anyway,
Very good.
You know,
But yes,
it'd be nice to have a new bridge in there, but anyway.
Then there's another bridge at Boss that we're going to have the same issues with, and you
One of
know it
these
as
days,
well as I do.
It's coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bridge.
That one really is a funky aligned.
It is, but
Little
there's
bridge.
no other way around that one either.
No, not very well.
So
Not very well.
No,
And boy, that's a
well.
tough one to swallow, being closed because of all the traffic to the mines every day, back and
I
forth.
know.
Yeah. So anyway, but as I said before, it's a great time to be in the cattle business, Stan. You know,
Absolutely.
it's dry. We need some rain. We could use some rain and a little more grass, but cattle have done well. You know, if a person can just keep enough in front of them, cattle do well when it gets dry, by and large. So anyway, but South Central Regional Stockyards would be glad to help you if we can help you in any way.
Very good.
If you're getting started, or if you've been in it 50 years, I will appreciate your business and be glad to see you and do whatever we can.
Well, Daryl, again, thank you for coming and making some time for us. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
I'll be back in a couple
We're going to
of
have a
weeks.
special guest. Do you know of yet?
It's a possibility.
Possibility. Always like
Couple-
special guests.
couple of weeks would be what? The 13th?
The 27th.
The 27th, yeah. Yeah. Yes, might very well have a special guest on.
Oh, very good.
Who
Well,
knows?
we look forward to seeing you then,
We'll work on that.
and any special guests you may be bringing. We would
Yeah.
appreciate that.
That'd be the 27th. That'd be the day after the regional planning
Yes, it
recognition
will.
dinner up at Herman. Yeah. So,
I'll bring all my
That's
awards in.
yeah.
Okay, that won't happen. But that sounded good. Anyway, again, we want to
Very
thank Daryl for coming in and spending some time with us. Hope you enjoyed the program. It's the South Central Regional Stockyards program. We do this program every second and fourth Friday, courtesy of South Central Regional Stockyards in Vienna. We appreciate all the great work that they do, and they have done a fantastic job for years and years and years, and look forward to continuing their great prosperity for helping people like yourself who might be in the cattle business, people just trying to get into it like Daryl's talking about. And if you want to really find out something about the cattle business, take in an auction.
Yep.
I mean, just even if you're
Glad
not
to-
interested right now,
Sale starts at 10 o'clock every Wednesday. Come in, get up there about 10 or 10:30 or so, or 11, and watch some of the sale. We got a great restaurant. David
There.
Patton's daughter, Tracy, runs the restaurant. It's a great meal. And make a day of it and come back in and watch some more and visit with us and give us a shout.
very good. Thank you. Daryl, have yourselves a great day,
Thank
and
you.
we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
We'll be back in a couple of weeks. Until then, I do hope everyone will be safe, happy, healthy, and God bless each and every one.
I'm back in the saddle.